Can you actually train your brain to hate cigarettes? Not grit your teeth and white knuckle past every craving for the rest of your life. Actually, flip the switch so the thing you used to crave starts to feel like nothing. It sounds like a gimmick. It isn't. And once you understand the mechanism, it's hard to unsee. So let's walk through it honestly, skeptic to skeptic. Start with why quitting usually fails, because almost everyone watching this has lived it. Most people smoke for years before they ever seriously try to stop. A few parties become a daily thing. A daily thing becomes a pack a day, the kind where one gets lid off the last one and that somehow feels normal. Then comes the quitting, and the quitting fails. Cold turkey is the classic, and for most people, it lasts about 3 days before the brain talks them into just one. Then there are nicotine patches and nicotine gum, which don't end the addiction so much as relocate it from the lungs to the jaw. Chewing nicotine gum while still wanting a cigarette is its own special kind of trap. So people go hunting for stop smoking aids that don't just swap one nicotine delivery system for another. A lot of them land on the Carr method, the famous book everyone recommends. And it has genuinely good ideas in it. But sitting and reading a book cover to cover while your brain is screaming doesn't work for everyone. Some people need structure, something on the phone, something that walks them through it day by day, which is how most people end up looking at apps to stop smoking, because the phone addiction is already there, so it might as well point at something useful. Here's the problem with most smoking cessation apps. A lot of them are glorified calendars. They count the days survived and the money saved. That's nice, but counting the days you've suffered through doesn't change why you smoke. A scoreboard is not a cure. The goal isn't to track the craving, it's to not have the craving in the first place. That's where Quit Sure is different. And the first thing that stops the scroll is how specific it is. It's a 6-day smoking cessation program. 6 days. Not quit in an hour, not some vague open-ended thing. Not quit forever in one magical session. A clear, structured quit smoking program with a beginning, a middle, and an end. For anyone who's failed at the unstructured approach over and over, that structure is the whole point. Then comes the part that makes people stop and listen twice. During the program, you keep smoking. You heard that right. For most of this cessation program, you do not quit. You continue smoking during the program. The natural reaction is, what kind of quit smoking app tells you to keep smoking? But that's the entire psychological trick, and it's the smartest part of the design. Because nothing is being taken away while you learn, the brain never goes into panic mode, and the cigarette never gets built up into some precious forbidden thing you're about to lose. Instead, while you keep smoking, the program slowly rewires your psychological relationship with the cigarette. It takes apart the beliefs underneath the habit, the idea that it relaxes you, that it's a reward, that it's part of who you are. By the time you reach your final cigarette on day 6, you're not ripping away something you love. You're walking away from something your brain has quietly stopped caring about. That's the train your brain to hate cigarettes part, except it's less hate and more total indifference, which is actually more powerful. You can fight something you hate. You can't fight for something you no longer want. So what's under the hood? Quit Sure is built on 3 psychological methods: CBT, REBT, and self-hypnosis, cognitive behavioral therapy to catch and rewire the thoughts that trigger you; rational emotive behavior, therapy to dismantle the irrational beliefs stacked up around smoking; and self-hypnosis to settle all of that into the part of the brain that runs on autopilot. If the idea of hypnotherapy to quit smoking brings up an image of sitting in a stranger's office watching a swinging pocket watch, this is that concept, except guided, in your pocket, and done by you. Walk through the 6 days, because the sequence is the mechanism. The early days, you're still smoking, and you're just learning. Listening, answering questions about your own habit you've genuinely never thought about before. It feels weirdly low pressure, because there's no withdrawal yet. Nothing's been removed. You're building the mental case against smoking while still doing it, which sounds backwards but completely disarms the resistance. By the middle days, things shift. You start seeing the gap between what smoking promised you and what it actually delivers. That gap is where the real work happens, and the back end of the program is where it all lands. By day 6, the cigarette has lost its grip, not through force, through a changed mind. Now, the honest part, because hype helps no one. This is not magic. What can be said is what the research says. Quit Sure has peer-reviewed research published in JMIR journals, a legitimate medical journal, not a printed certificate someone made in an afternoon. and the figure reported there is an 80.1% success rate among program completers. That phrase matters, so here it is plainly. That's among the people who actually finish the program. Download it, ignore it, never open it, and obviously nothing happens. You have to do the 6 days, but for people who complete it, that's a serious, published number, not a marketing fantasy. A couple of features end up mattering more than expected. There's 24/7 chat support with a psychologist inside the app, which sounds minor until it's midnight. The spiral hits, and a real trained human actually answers. And there's an in-app community of other smokers and ex-smokers going through the same thing at the same time. That's the part most stop smoking programs get wrong. They leave you alone with it. Quitting in a room by yourself is brutal. Quitting alongside 1,000 other people doing the exact same thing is a completely different experience. For scale, because it's fair to ask whether this is some tiny side project, QuitSure has over 3 million downloads and was created by Stanford University alumni. So this isn't two people in a garage. It's a serious operation with serious reach. So is it the best app to quit smoking? For the people it works for, the answer is yes. And most of them tried plenty of other smoking cessation programs first. The reason it works when cold turkey, the patches, the gum, and the Carr stop smoking approach all failed is simple. Every other method asks you to fight your own brain. This one retrains it. When you're not fighting yourself, there's nothing left to lose to. That's the entire difference between a stop smoking app that tracks your suffering and a smoking cessation app that actually ends it. If that pattern sounds familiar, quit 100 times, start at 101. The move isn't to muscle through harder next time. It's to stop leaning on willpower-based quit smoking aids and go after the root instead. Train the brain, and the craving stops being a fight that has to be won every single day. Look up QuitSure, read the JMIR research directly, and actually finish the 6 days. That last part is on you. The rest, it turns out, takes care of itself.